Words like spirituality, values, and beliefs can be vague at best and misleading at worst. To be clear, in the context of FIRES, the term spiritual need not have religious or even metaphysical connotations. When I use the word spiritual, I am merely referring to a person's core values and deepest beliefs, which could, for some individuals, be rooted in entirely scientific or materialistic schools of thought. So let's take a moment to define core values and deepest beliefs. Core values are the principles that guide your actions. They're guidelines that clarify what is right and wrong. The way we express our chosen characters or identities, that is, the means by which we actualize our true selves or desired selves. Deepest beliefs are assumptions or convictions that are held as true even when there's little or no evidence to support or prove them. They're a set of assumptions underlying a way of looking at the world or mentally organizing your reality. If you think about it, your core values flow organically from your deepest beliefs. Matthew's core value of authentic community wrapped around a spiritual core is very much related to his religious convictions, which are influenced by the recovery movement. If your core values dictate the way you behave, or at least would like to behave, your deepest beliefs determine what those core values should be. Where does your sense of right and wrong come from? How do you know how to behave? What decisions to make and what matters the most to you? Why do you want to live one type of life and not another? And what does that say about what you assume to be true? What's your worldview or your subjective representation of external reality, in the words of the futurist Alvin Toffler? Toffler once described a person's worldview as being like a giant filing cabinet. It contains a folder for every item of information coming our way. It organizes our knowledge by providing a grid for making sense of our daily lives. This filing cabinet resides in the deep infrastructure of our minds. Our cultures, families, educations, and histories, and a whole host of other factors have had a hand in creating it. Our worldviews allow us to simply live rather than painstakingly deliberate over every decision. Because it makes life easier and more authentic, it's natural to simply go about your life without becoming consciously aware of what our worldviews look like, how they function, and where they come from. Having a worldview is like having a heart that beats or lungs that breathe. We take its functions for granted, even as it enables our very existence. That's why your core values and deepest beliefs can, and frequently do, go unexamined. You're likely to have a whole raft of assumptions that guide your actions from day to day that you are mostly or even totally unaware of. But since these things end up steering the course of your life, it's essential to identify and understand them. Your examined or unexamined matrix of beliefs and values propels your actions, and those actions lead to outcomes. In the end, those outcomes become the substance of your purpose, the sum total of your impact on the world. By understanding the role of your core values and deepest beliefs, and then clearly articulating them, you are setting a course for fulfilling a purpose. Whatever you think your impact on this world should be, whatever you think your purpose is, it all begins with beliefs and values. So when I use the word spirituality, that's what I'm talking about. A core values and belief system that will drive you towards fulfilling a purpose. That's what your spirituality is. When you achieve clarity and a sense of intentionality around that core values and belief system, you will have lit and begun to tend your spiritual fire. That fire will always burn away the unnecessary, that which conflicts with or crowds out your values and beliefs. and will open up space for what you should truly be cultivating. The spiritual fire creates fertile conditions for realizing your purpose. What should that purpose be? The author and marketing consultant Simon Sinek has coined a famous phrase that addresses this need to clarify purpose, values, and beliefs. Start with why. In his book, Start with Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action, he says, there are only two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. Very few people or companies can clearly articulate why they do what they do. By why, I mean your purpose, cause, or belief. Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every morning? And why should anyone care? People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Sinek originally intended this message for marketing professionals, as perhaps you can tell, but I'd argue it has applicability to a wide array of people, including those about to set off on their FIRES journey. When Sinek talks about manipulating or inspiring people, he is referring to consumers who may or may not buy a particular product. But what if you focus this idea, namely that behavior can be manipulated or inspired, on yourself and your personal journey? Are you trying to manipulate yourself into doing certain things? Or are you inspired to do them? When you come up with goals for your personal or professional life, do you feel fired up, impassioned, attracted, and motivated? Or do these goals become whips that you use to cajole or control yourself? We start with the spiritual because that's where your personal why resides. If you think about everything else in this FIRE's personal strategic planning system as being concerned with your what's, spiritual is all about your why. Sinek says that people don't buy what you do, but why you do it. And I'd say that if you create plans for your life that only concern themselves with those what's, the type of job or relationship, your possessions, and all of that you want, in the end, you won't buy it. In other words, you either won't fully invest yourself in those plans, or you won't really value their outcomes. If you want to buy what you're setting out to do, start with why. Start your core values and deepest beliefs.